If I pull this bit of string, two things will happen. First of all, some balloons will fall down on Neil Innes, who will then sing a number called Silver Jubilee. Let's see if it works, shall we?
Queen Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, Silver Jubilee. Queen Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, God save you and me.
Even the Top of the Pops audience roused itself in June when the nation put up the bunting as celebrations for the Queen's Silver Jubilee revved up.
Majesty, oh, sailing in the yacht Britannia, nowhere in the world would ban ya, oh, your royal family.
But Top of the Pops would soon be confronted by a #1 dilemma of royal proportions. In May, newly signed to Virgin Records, the Sex Pistols released their second single.
God save the Queen, the fascist regime.
We didn't actually sit down and say, let's write an anti-Jubilee or anti-monarchy song. You know, I guess it was there in the back of our minds. And the song was written way back in '76, you know, and it was just timing, really. It just, everything fell into place.
With Jubilee Week fast approaching, the BBC wasn't shy of showing where its loyalties lay, and that included banning the single.
Just saying the name, God Save the Queen, would in some way, you know what I mean? It's like Macbeth or, you know, cancer, you just don't say it. That in itself is going to be enough to incense people.
We didn't go out deliberately to get banned. We was like anybody else. We wanted our records played. We was a band. We wanted people to hear it. We wanted it to be on the radio. We wanted to be on Top of the Pops. So it was a bit of a downer, really, when it was banned, to tell you the truth. But it was great for us, obviously.
God Save the Queen started to skulk its way up the charts, pitted against a mind-boggling lineup of diverse talents. Sat at #1 was a rock and roll veteran who was far easier on the ear for the musical establishment.
I can tell by your eyes that you've probably been crying.
Rod Stewart had once been seen as an oikish upstart, just like the Sex Pistols. But by 1977, he was virtually rock royalty. That summer, he released the double A-side single, The First Cut is the Deepest, coupled with I Don't Want to Talk About It.
Talk about it.
The Faces were like the People's Band at one point, and off he'd gone to America, and now he's shagging Britt Eklund, you know, who's clearly not of the people anymore. He's become this remote figure sequestered away in a Hollywood mansion with Britt Eklund, singing I Don't Want to Talk About It.
And there was something that Rod might have been reluctant to discuss. The rumours that his single was actually being outsold by God Save the Queen.
At the end of that Jubilee week, I think it was #1 in most charts, except for the BBC charts, funnily enough.
I remember thinking, this sounds weird. I haven't heard anything like this before. You know, there's this brilliant quote, which was on like BBC Wales Today, the sort of regional equivalent, and it's, you know, ooh, and he's a brilliant Welsh voice, and he goes, you know, I'd let my daughter go and see Rod Stewart, but I'd never let her go and see this rubbish.
All attempts to stop it by this complete media blackout fail, and the only thing to do is to actually just cheat.
Never in its history had a band record reached #1. So at 7:30 on Thursday the 9th of June, there was only ever likely to be one occupant of the top spot.
Right now it's #1 time on Top of the Pops, and here he is. He's still there, Rod Stewart, and The First Cut is the Deepest.
given you all of my heart. But there's someone who's torn it apart, and she's taken just all that I had. And if you want, I'll try to love again.
I think it's basically accepted as fact that the compilers of the charts fiddled the figures to ensure that God Save the Queen didn't get to #1, because there's plenty of reports from retailers at the time, the week of the Jubilee, going, it's outselling, I don't want to talk about it, by Rod Stewart, hand over fist.
Not everyone, though, bought into this conspiracy theory.
Sour grapes, popular. Sour grapes from people to say that outsold and that should have done that and that should have done that. I think from the Sex Pistols, let's tell the truth, Rod, you were selling more records than the Pistols. That's a fact.
I think there was a great deal of relief in the Top of the Pop studios when Rod Stewart's song made #1 in that particular week and the Pistols didn't.
A crisis on Top of the Pops had been averted, much to the BBC's relief.
It would have been quite a difficult decision to make had the Sex Pistols got to #1. We couldn't play out with the song. It would have been an impossible thing to do, you know, because if the records band, Top of the Pops was part of the BBC, and that was the rule at the time.
Whoever actually sold the most records in Jubilee week, most of the country wasn't to be deterred from having a right royal knees up. Easy, Grandma.
In England's